Welcome everyone to the last and, in my biased opinion, the best demo session of Connect 2020. Why? Because it's about air defense. Why not? So I'll start off with a quick intro. My name is Chris Kelly, and I'm with the Technical Marketing Engineering Group at Extreme Networks, and I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And partnering with me today on this session is Andreas Richter, who is a senior systems engineer based out of Germany. And moderating with us today for this session, we have Oves and Rich. And for about the next 30 minutes, we'll be talking about extreme air defense. So real quick, for those of you that maybe are not familiar with air defense, I'll start with a quick intro and discuss what it is, and we'll learn some of the more powerful features of the air defense solution, followed by a video that we prepared that will walk us through those features in more detail. So I'm sure this is going to generate a lot of questions. And so like the other sessions, we'll have some Q&A time right after the video so that we can interact with a live system to help answer some of those questions. So there's a lot to talk about in the session. And with air defense, there never seems to be enough time. So let's jump right in and get started. All right. So for quick historical reference, air defense was introduced in 2001 as the industry's first large-scale distributed sensor wireless IDS system, back when Wi-Fi was still a nice-to-have in the office. WEP, and WEP encryption was still king. And every time you turned around, there was another wireless vulnerability being discovered, sort of like the Bluetooth now. Oh, and speaking of, a new Bluetooth flaw was just announced yesterday called BLESA. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's a Bluetooth reconnection spoofing attack that apparently affects like every possible BLE device out there. Yay. So initially, air defense's primary focus was on rogue AP detection and signature-based threats. But very quickly, the system evolved and the threat analysis engine became much more sophisticated. And the number of ways that air defense could detect rogue APs and clients expanded. And every year, more advanced features were added to the system that went way beyond just simply adding new threat alarms to the system. I think it's safe to say that any company that is truly looking for a best-in-class wireless security solution is either already running air defense or is taking a really hard look at it right now. So regarding the sensor support options for air defense, the sensors operate using extreme access point radios within the access points themselves, which is simply an optional configuration setting on the access points. So, and these sensors can be configured on any of the current wireless management platforms, XIQ, XCC, formerly known as XCA, and Wing. Or if you want, you can even just configure an extreme access point to operate as a standalone sensor without any management of the access point itself. Oh, and by the way, air defense can also integrate with any of those three platforms that I just mentioned, XIQ, XCC, and Wing. Which then helps a lot when setting up air defense to run in a fully automated fashion. So there's also support for two different modes of sensor. So you have dedicated mode and radio share mode. So dedicated mode simply means that the radios are performing 24/7 full-time sensing. And radio share mode means that the radios are constantly monitoring the channel that they are currently on for servicing clients. And then they perform periodic scans of the other channels. Now, which mode you choose really just depends on your requirements. As far as the available deployment models of air defense, the original version is a 100% on-prem deployment solution. And available right around the corner is Extreme Air Defense Essentials, which will be included as part of the Extreme Cloud IQ pilot subscription feature set. That was a mouthful. So Air Defense Essentials is a cloud-based model of air defense. Naturally, though, it still uses the on-prem distributed sensors to collect the wireless information, but the air defense management interface will be part of the Extreme Cloud IQ interface. Now, as I alluded to earlier, the air defense feature set has really expanded over the years. We'll take a look at all of these features shown here during the video in just a moment. But as a quick preview, here's a rundown of what we'll be looking at today. So the dashboard is a great place to get instant feedback on your current threat posture using customizable information widgets that give you just the information you want. The Device Action Manager is primarily used for the automation of wireless device classification. And the classification of devices is how AirDefense understands what devices belong to you. And therefore, it directly affects how it monitors the environment and responds to threats. The Alarm Action Manager is a tool that allows you to create complex rules that, if matched, will then trigger whatever action you want the system to take. Now, this is where you can set up things like automated mitigation of rogues using air termination or port suppression. But really, that's just one very simple example. The Live View feature essentially allows you to remotely view and capture wireless activity from anywhere that you have a sensor deployed. No more need to drive to a site just to grab a wireless capture or view the wireless traffic, in real time. And now Live View even gives you the ability to see Bluetooth devices, BLE devices, and their live traffic without any additional hardware. It's completely integrated. Advanced Forensics is an incredible historical database analysis tool that contains a wealth of wireless information that can be used for both troubleshooting and investigating wireless security related events that go back months or even years. The database can even be archived for long-term offline storage. The reporting engine in AirDefense is really unlike any other in the wireless IDS industry. So not only does the AirDefense already contain like 36 different detailed report templates that cover a wide variety of topical areas and regulatory requirements, but there's also a tool that allows you to create very detailed, customized report templates by choosing from this huge list of different collective metrics and formatting options. And finally here, the AP test and the wireless vulnerability assessment tool, the WVA for short, also patented, are very cool features that allow a sensor to temporarily pretend to be a wireless client so that they can then run certain tests against your wireless infrastructure, which gives you the ability to actively test and protect your network without impacting the wireless users. The test can be run on demand for troubleshooting purposes, or more commonly, as it's set up, you can set up a schedule that causes the test to run periodically, so that you can basically become proactive and learn about network failures before the help desk tickets start blowing up your inbox, or before a breach occurs because of a vulnerability that no one knew about until after it was actually exploited. And now, to try to maximize the time we have available here to show you these features during this short session, let's take a look at a prepared video so you can see more of what we've discovered so far.
It's incredibly easy for someone to sniff the air in your environment and pull out key information that will allow them to become a serious threat to your network. Many think ACLs and network-hosted applications will protect them, but with today's complexities, hackers can exploit this mentality and hand out some serious security breaches. This can be done with rogue APs, man-in-the-middle attacks, evil twin, and many, many more angles to trick these systems. So how do you protect your airspace? Extreme air defense is the perfect way to do so. Air defense has been around for a long time, the first patent being submitted in 2002. It is the first product to introduce 24/7, 365 wireless monitoring and has built up a database of over 300 threats. It is the most mature wireless security platform on the market. You can leverage real-time tools, historical forensics, alarm automation, and threat mitigation, just to name a few. The reporting availability within AirDefense includes Custom Report Builder that offers over 1,000 different fields. Let's take a look, starting with the dashboards. AirDefense offers the ability to create custom dashboards so you can take a quick look at the items you wish based on whatever scenarios you're interested in. This will provide a graphical view so you can zone in on threats and service issues quickly. Managing and creating these dashboards is quite simple. Select Create, choose the widgets you wish to monitor on your dashboard, give it a name, and save. Instantly, you will see the data is populated and you can move between dashboards whenever you want. The next powerful screen that AirDefense has to offer is the networking screen. Here, you can drill down into your network tree. You can access all of the sensors on your network, view BSSs in your airspace. You can also drill into your wireless client devices, where you can search and view current status of connections and their classifications. We also provide bips, Bluetooth intrusion protection, so you can protect your airspace against BLE phishing attacks and secure your wayfinding or customer engagement applications. From the Pulled Devices menu, you can select a sensor and run specific tools such as Live View or Advanced Forensics to get information tied directly to the sensor point of view. This can be very useful for both security and troubleshooting purposes. The same thing can be done from the client side as well. You can search for a name, MAC address, SSID, client type, and other attributes. Then you can locate that device on a map, run tools such as Live View or Advanced Forensics, manually classify it, troubleshoot, or even create automation rules for the next time it's visible. The last of the operational screens in AirDefense is the alarm screen. Here, you will see alarms that are active or have been active within a certain time period. You can use the network tree and searches to drill into key areas of interest. When you want to address an alarm, you can use the menu on the alarm to locate the device, run tools, or initiate mitigation techniques such as termination. AirDefense has a threat database above 300 and continues to grow. It provides several methods to manage alarms and how those alarms are generated. This will prevent false positives, data overload, and provide the security team with real and actual data that is current and important to the operations. With over 300 threats to alarm on, you can use this alarm configuration screen to exclude networks or devices, change priorities, set up how long the alarm should be visible after it has been activated and may no longer be happening, and even disable it altogether. Configuring alarms isn't the only way to manage false positives. Use the Device Action Manager to create highly advanced rules to auto-classify devices and networks, helping trigger or ignore even more granular-based threats. This eliminates false classification of rogues and neighbor devices. You can auto-sanction devices, classify roles, and even specify types of security and networks devices should be expected to stay on. Once you have classified your devices and set up how you want to trigger your alarms, you can move to the Alarm Action Manager. This is where you set up automation when alarms are triggered. To create this automation, you would search for the specific alarm you want to action from. In this case, we are searching for a rogue. Once you choose your trigger, you can use a set of filters to add granularity to the conditions you wish to actually trigger from. In this case, we are choosing that the client is associated to that rogue AP. Finally, you can select what actions are appropriate when that alarm is triggered. You can send email, reports, you can activate mitigation techniques such as ACLs, port suppression, or termination. And you can initiate info gathering such as running AP tests, frame captures, wireless vulnerability tests, spectrum analyzer, and of course, send syslog messages to your NOC. AirDefense provides a way for the operator to locate devices on a map. This is useful when looking for rogue APs, hacking devices, and even BLE beacons. Here, we can see what tracing a device looks like. And here, we can see what a BLE beacon looks like. Of all the powerful tools AirDefense has to offer, Live View and Advanced Forensics are the most popular. Here, we are looking at Live View being run on a client device. This device is running a scan on the network, and Live View is showing us all the end nodes on this network that the scanning device is able to talk to. We can also use Live View to view and capture frames coming from that client. From an access point perspective, we have a similar dashboard, mapped connections of devices to the access point, as well as their signal levels. We can capture frames sent to the access point, and even filter out which frames we want to watch for a more targeted security or troubleshooting live session. We can also watch BLE frames in the area, identifying Eddystone and iBeacons, as well as their service sets, such as UUID with their major minor configurations. Because we are pulling in over 325 stats per device per minute, we can leverage advanced forensics to go back in time and look at exactly what happened. Here, we can see the tool being used on an AP providing stats on the threat analysis and breakdown, traffic use, a breakdown of traffic per device, channel use, and bandwidth analysis. You can also leverage the AP tab for troubleshooting things like the adoption history. Leveraging the same tool on a client device, We can see the dashboard snapshots, device connectivity information, and threat analysis. We can also see the association history to track where the device has been and how long it has been there. We can also use this data later to correlate other devices that have shared the same access points. We can also use the location heat map to provide an accurate representation of where that device is typically seen. This can be used as a handy tool when addressing COVID contact tracing. As mentioned earlier, AirDefense has a rich reporting database, from inventory to compliance. Even more powerful, the custom reports supply over 1,000 different fields that you can use. In our example here, we created a report that correlates devices that have shared APs with a target device. This will allow us to track users who have shared a physical space with someone who may have tested positive for COVID. As you can see, this report shows each access point the device was connected to and all of the devices that were also connected to the same access point with their duration. So what else does AirDefense have to offer? AirDefense also has tools such as AP Test. You can use your sensor to act as a client, connect to a wireless LAN remotely, and report on any failures from authenticating to running ping tests and file transfers. The Spectrum Analyzer tool provides a method of checking above and beyond just data. With this tool, you can look for non-802.11 interference, channel utilization, physical over-the-air statistics, and see your airspace RF energy far more clearly. You can also use the wireless vulnerability test to check what other clients can access across your system. Acting as a client, run port scans and use your sensor to test your ACLs and network security to make sure there are no gaps. Running this remotely becomes a very handy tool. Thank you for watching this video on AirDefense. If you have any questions, would like to see a demo, or look deeper into the tools you saw here, please reach out to your local Extreme Networks account teams. Thank you.
All right, so I know that may have been a lot to take in for those that might possibly be new to AirDefense. So let's jump into some Q&A, since I'm sure that we've probably generated a few questions by now. So, okay, Ovais, do we have any questions for us?
Absolutely, Chris. Yeah, it looks like people have been busy on the live chat window. So the first question is about the forensics data. How far back can the system hold this forensics information?
You want that, Andres?
I think I can take that question, Ovais.
Okay.
This is Andreas. The system can hold several months up to years of information. We have a functionality in there to actually drain seen devices, which are walk-bys, to keep the database clean on a daily basis. So we can set timers to drain and keep the database clean. So we can keep years of data to look back, and even we can also offload them to a larger scale hard drive so that things can be looked at for a long time.
That's amazing. All right, the second question that I have got is about the census report on AirDefense. So do we support 11AX sensors, and can AirDefense protect against the attacks on 11AX devices?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So yeah, let me stop this and bring that up. So the short answer is absolutely yes. AirDefense fully supports 11AX sensing. All that's really needed is a 300, 400, or 500 series 11AX AP, or a cloud-managed 410C or a 460C tri-radio access point. And then there's also going to be additional models of 11AX cloud-based access points that will be supported for sensing coming very soon. Now, as for 11AX device protection, that really just ties in with the AirDefense system's ability to monitor 11AX clients. So if an AirDefense system can see those devices, it can protect them. It's as simple as that. And when using 11AX sensors, AirDefense can fully understand and decode the traffic that is specific to the 11AX PHY. So as you can see here, we've got a live system. So let's just take a quick look just to validate some of this here. And we'll look at some of the 11AX devices. So I'm going to jump into the network devices screen. And let's see, where do I want to go? Let's take a look at what our XIQ sensors are seeing. And then we'll jump up here we'll take a look first at the BSSs, which is the access points. And what I need to do here, so I can demonstrate what I want to show, is add the protocols column. And the protocols column will show you what particular PHYs these access points are recognized as supporting. And right away, you can see down here, we've got several model APs, and they happen to be Extreme Networks model access points, but it shows that they support from going all the way back to 802.11a all the way to 802.11ax. So you can see there that we've got full support of and recognition of those devices. Now, if we want to show,
that's a great explanation.
Yep. And same thing with the wireless clients. Just real quick here. Where is it? Protocols. Finding wireless clients that support AX is sometimes a little more challenging because really the only devices that you have out there that support them right now are the Samsung devices and Apple. So I don't know if we've probably got a lot of other questions on there I could show you, but yeah, we have clients that are currently being seen on there that also are recognized as supporting 802.11ax.
Yeah, the important thing is that we are keeping up with the industry trends, and that's what matters. So
Absolutely.
The second question is about the access point test feature that we demonstrated in the video as well. So what if a wireless LAN network is using a certificate-based authentication like ETLS? Can AP test handle that?
AP test, yeah. Andreas, you want to take it?
I want to take that one. Yes, sure,
Okay.
we can. So we have functionalities in the system which actually are able to use certificates for the AP test feature. So the AP test feature is a pop-up window which is going to come up, and we simply do an add.
Hold on, hold on. Let me grab it real quick. It's on the other screen. There you go.
Okay, so first of all, I need to generally enable all of this. And then I would go and edit the functionality. And in here, I simply choose an SSID where the system is going to actually test against. I access the profile name. And when done, actually misclicked.
Yeah.
Then I actually need to do the authentication. I'll leave that for open. I do an EAP type. And in there, I can actually choose an EAS. And then I go for AS again. I do an WPA2. And then I choose like a TLS certificate. And then I can import certificates into the system. And then I can use certificates to do a remote controlled sensor as a client function and do AP test as well as the vulnerability testing. This is valid for both.
Yeah, I was just showing there, Andreas, even under ETLS, you've also got the ability to import the root CA as well.
Correct. Good point.
So it looks like that we've got quite a bunch of protocols that we can actually support on ETLS.
Yeah, it's fully covered.
So moving on, because I have quite a few more questions rolling in, and we would like to answer as many as we can. So my favorite topic, air termination. Are there any legal issues with using it? I've heard of some reports, hotels being fined for using it.
Yeah. I'll grab this, Andres. So yeah, you're absolutely justified in asking that type of question. So first, no. There are no legal issues with using air termination when, the caveat here is when it's used properly. So the good thing is that AirDefense has built-in rules that try to help prevent a user from misusing air termination against devices improperly in the United States. Now, I'd be lying if I said that the system is 100% able to prevent misuse of air termination. So if an admin wants to circumvent the controls, it can be done, but you have to go out of your way to modify device configurations in AirDefense.
All right.
1 second. My system is glitching here. Okay. And, even if you were to, make these modifications to the system, that activity is logged. And then if terminating the device, that activity is logged. So if it came down to it, if there was an investigation, there is a paper trail to show, how the system controls were circumvented and who was logged into the system and actually made these, call it illegal air terminations. Now,
okay, got it.
Real quick, outside the U.S., the regulatory rules are different regarding the use of air termination. They're sometimes less restrictive, sometimes they're very less restrictive. So for those users of AirDefense that fall into these categories, you just need to contact your local representative to discuss the options, and there are options to help with this. Really good question, though.
Okay, I appreciate the explanation. So are there any different user levels available? Like, for example, can I have one user without admin access?
Yeah, take that, Andres.
Is that okay if I can take that one, Chris?
Yep, go for it.
Yep, that definitely is possible. So user levels can be set up for different user levels. So there can be user levels for like a help desk user only. So you can go and user levels can be set up as adding a user. So you can do a local or a remote controlled user, and you can have different user levels set like guest user, admin user, super admin user. So you've got different levels, and these levels can be assigned to the part of the tree we've seen earlier, like the level of a city or a level of a building, things like that. So that is definitely possible. And then you can narrow down what the user can execute. These can be seen as templates. And within the template, you can even narrow down what one of these users can do. The super admin can kind of narrow down the admin that it only can do a certain part on the system. So that is definitely possible.
All right, so just a quick reminder before I ask you guys the next question, because we have got a minute and a half left before the session ends. So the last question that I'm going to leave you with is in the reporting part of the video, there were a lot of reports to choose from, but is it possible maybe to modify the reports in some way or form? Can I customize the reports to make it more specific to something that I really need?
Yeah, I'll try to answer this, Andreas, real quick. I would love to be able to jump into the system and actually show this. Unfortunately, it would probably take more than a minute or two that we have. But what I will say about that is that you do have the ability to create fully customized reports, and it is incredibly flexible and incredibly powerful. So usually what I tell people when I'm working with them on AirDefense and creating custom reports is to make it easier, find one of these built-in report templates that comes very close to what you're already looking for, and then modify that, because it's always easier to start with something that is close to what you need and then simply modify it versus starting from a blank sheet and then building it up from scratch. But if I had time to show you this, you would see that the custom report builder in the system allows you to create these beautiful, wonderfully detailed, complex reports, or very simple reports, just depending on how you want them. So anyway, like I said, I wish I had more time to actually go in there and show you this, but it would take a minute or two, which I don't think we have now.
Yeah, so it looks like, folks, it's going to be a wrap soon. So any closing remarks, Chris or Andreas?
Let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else that is fairly common. Yeah, and another common question I can probably answer here is regarding the use of extreme APs as sensors. So yeah, the system does require extreme APs to function as sensors, but you don't have to have an extreme wireless infrastructure. If you want to utilize AirDefense in a non-extreme wireless infrastructure, you can do that. The AirDefense system just simply operates as an overlay solution at that point. Obviously, it would require the extreme APs to operate as sensors at that point. But we've got a large number of AirDefense systems out there that are actually monitoring and securing non-extreme wireless infrastructures.